Blog Talk Radio.
What if the American people woke up and understood that the official reasons for going to war are almost always based on lies and promoted by war propaganda in order to serve special interests? What if we as a nation came to realize that the quest for empire eventually destroys all great nations? What if the American people learned the truth?
The FBI has foiled about 17 plots to kill Americans during the past 10 years. What it will not tell you is that there have been 20 foiled plots, and of them, 3 were interrupted by members of the public. The 17 that were interrupted by the feds were created by the feds. Why do we pay the government to trick us into believing it is keeping us safe? What if a government that manipulated us could be fired? What if a government that lacked the true and knowing consent of the governed could be dismissed? What if it were possible to have a real game changer? What if we need a Ron Paul to preserve and protect our freedoms from the government? What if we can make elections matter again? What if you could love your country but hate what the government has done to it? What if sometimes to love your country you had to alter or abolish the government? What if Jefferson was right? What if that government is best which governs least? What if I'm right? What if the government is wrong? What if it is dangerous to be right when the government is wrong? What if it is better to perish fighting for freedom than to live as a slave? What if freedom's greatest hour of danger is now?
It's critical that every citizen of this country rise up and do something, because the day of reckoning is at hand and time is running out.
Unless we do something, we're going to get the government that we deserve.
How did you let this happen? Wake up out there. You know, it's your children. Don't you care? Look what these people are doing to you.
There are 200 million adults in this country. Why we are letting them get away with what they are, why we're not marching in the streets.
Do everything in your power to restore freedom and your individuality back to America. Stop being a country run by the institutions for the institutions. Let's go back to we the people, by the people, for the people.
We have to stop being scared. We have to stand up and do what's necessary to take back, to stop these bankers, these elite, this government full of lies, congressmen full of liars.
And the Federal Reserve, and the fractional banking system, and the Fed. Elect Ron Paul, and the war.
People should not be afraid of their governments. Governments should be afraid of their people.
Don't give yourselves to brutes, men who despise you, enslave you, who regiment your lives, tell you what to do, what to think, or what to feel, who drill you, diet you, treat you like cattle, use you as cannon fodder. Don't give yourselves to these unnatural men with machine minds and machine hearts. You, the people, have the power. You, the people, have the power to make this life free and beautiful. Let us fight to free the world, to do away with greed, with hate and intolerance. Let us fight for a world of reason, a world where science and progress will lead to all men's happiness. Soldiers, let us all unite!
All right, everybody, Joseph Gibson podcasting live from Greensboro, North Carolina tonight. Open phones, I guess, tonight, 657-383-0616. You want to bring on, talk about something that we've been covering a lot. We've been covering a lot about the election, obviously. And I made read the statement there from my source there about how it was stolen and about the machines, this supercomputer that they got, that how they rigged the elections. And we went over that. It's there, and they touch upon it a little bit with the corporate news media, and, they won't tell you exactly what's going on. But, you want to talk about that? You want to talk about CPS? You want to talk about prisons? We talk about anything you want to talk about. The military-industrial complex here, the machine, the New World Order, that's coming to get you, the New World Order right around the corner for you. And it's just a matter of time. This America is going to be destroyed from within, and we've covered that so many times. But before I open up the phones there, just let you know there, we got to have Dr. Peter Ventura in the next couple of weeks with Pastor Cadenas. And they're going to be coming on here do a little theology show again. That's always popular. A lot of people, the devils come out of the people, the evil people, the angry people come out of the woodwork, and they just want to attack. It's amazing how people that are non-Christian, that don't believe in God, know more about the Bible than the people that preach it. You're not supposed to do this. The Bible says this. The Bible says that. They know more about the Bible than the pastors and the professors, the theology people I bring on here. It's amazing. Like I said, atheists is just so funny, especially the atheists and these Mormons and the flat Earth people. You just love them. I mean, it's like a liberal. One of these libtards, they come on and you have a discussion with them. As soon as they start getting backed into a corner, they start yelling at you, calling you names, and then they turn around and they go away, and they run away. And that's how it is. That's how liberals are. So anyway, the phone number is 657-383-0616, and we are 100% live. I don't screen calls. I'll take you live. All you got to do is press the number 1, and I will take live callers, and we'll see what we get here tonight and see how the show goes. I'll be back in a few minutes.
Walk into this room at your own risk, because it leads to the future. Not a future that will be, but one that might be. This is not a new world. It is simply an extension of what began in the old one. It has patterned itself after every dictator who has ever planted the ripping imprint of a boot on the pages of history since the beginning of time. It has refinements, technological advances, and a more sophisticated approach the destruction of human freedom. But like every one of the superstates that preceded it, it has one iron rule. Logic is an enemy and truth is a menace.
In the councils of government, we must guard against the acquisition of unwarranted influence, whether sought or unsought, by the military-industrial complex. The potential for the disastrous rise of misplaced power exists and will persist. For we are opposed around the world by a monolithic and ruthless conspiracy that relies primarily on covert means for expanding its sphere of influence. It is a system which has conscripted vast human and material resources into the building of a tightly knit, highly efficient machine that combines military, diplomatic, intelligence, economic, scientific, and political operations. Its preparations are concealed, not published. Its mistakes are buried, not headlined. Its dissenters are silenced, not praised. No expenditure is questioned, no rumor is printed, no secret is revealed.
I appeared before the Congressional Committee to tell what I knew of activities which I believe might lead to an attempt to set up a fascist dictatorship.
A part of that plan, of course, is to induce the gradual surrender of American sovereignty, piece by piece and step by step, to various international organizations, of which the United Nations is the outstanding but far from the only example. The consequent willingness of the American people to allow the steps of appeasement by our government, which amount to a piecemeal surrender of the rest of the free world and of the United States itself.
We have before us the opportunity to forge for ourselves and for future generations a new world order, a world where the rule of law, not the law of the jungle, governs the conduct of nations. When we are successful, and we will be, we have a real chance at this new world order, an order in which a credible United Nations can use its peacekeeping role to fulfill the promise and vision the UN standard.
I had planned another closing message, but I feel compelled to say what I'm about to say. Now, I risk sounding like a conspiracy theorist, but it's no longer a theory. What I'm about to say is fact. The secret organizations of the world power elite are no longer secret. They have planned and are now leading us into a one-world communist government.
On the outskirts of the national capital today, black limousines with darkened windows converged on a hotel where private security guards imposed ironclad control.
The limos carried royalty, political power brokers, and industrial titans to a secret meeting that will last all weekend. It's known as the Bilderberg Group. Could their objective be world domination?
Money from our treasury is now being spent for this effort. We will have a new currency and a new constitution modeled on the Soviet Union's constitution. Our rights will not be inalienable, but they will be granted by government who can also take them away. This is terrorism of the most worst kind, brought on you by our own government. The strongest, freest nation in the history of mankind will be averaged into world communism.
Now we can see a new world coming into view. A world in which there is a very real prospect of a new world order. It is a big idea. A new world order.
A new world is emerging. It is a new world order. The new world order is emerging. A new world order can be created. New world order.
The new world order.
New world order. A new world order.
The new world order.
New world order. New world order. New world order. A new world order.
And the hope that each of us has to build a new world order.
Движение в другом направлении, к новому мировому порядку.
I think even that does not describe why the world has changed so much and why the world has turned so much towards a new world order and a new kind of civilization.
France intends to pursue together with all people of goodwill around the world this battle to build a new world order of the 21st century.
It's about the peace of Europe and a new world order. A new world order. The new world order.
New world order.
A new international order.
New global order. President Obama and British Prime Minister Gordon today calling for a new world order.
Is this some sort of a new world order, which Gordon Brown kind of alluded to?
God is setting up a new world order, and his plan includes you.
In an era of globalization, of political interdependence, where the world is ever more swiftly opening up, and the cliché about a global community becomes an economic, political, often social reality. In this new world,
British Prime Minister Brown today declared a new world order is emerging. We want to know what you think, so our poll question is, are you excited that a new world order is emerging, or are you concerned about America's sovereignty?
What is this new world order all about? It is about a reversal of the American Revolution. American Revolution was a bunch of farm kids and get them working in blacksmith shops and working at other jobs, standing up for the greatest army on earth in places like Lexington and Concord and saying to the whole world that forever, no matter what happens, we Americans will decide here and decide for ourselves our own destiny. The New World Order is the reversal, the overturning of that revolution. That's what the end goal is. America is a rich province, part of their New World Order. But I give you my word, if ever I stand up on that east wing of the Capitol and take my oath as President of the United States, when my hand goes up, their New World Order comes crashing down.
All right, everybody. That's right. The New World Order comes crashing down. All right. That's a little inspirational there, huh? But it's going to happen. There's going to be no awakening. I mean, we're having our last Trump there blow there with Trump here with the election, and we know the truth, but it's just not getting out there. People just got too much going on. I mean, we got the COVID now. It's coming back. It just took a little break there during the election. I mean, they didn't talk about it at all. CNN, Fox, fake Fox, and all these other news networks, they didn't talk about it at all during the election, that whole week there, right? They never really talked about it. Now, all of a sudden, after the election, and this controversy dies down, and, he won Arizona, North Carolina's doing a recount, we're doing this. All these ballots are getting recounted. No, we got 10,000 more ballots. They just shipped them in. Yep, that's right. The postage mark there from 2001. We're going to accept the postage mark from 2001, and we're going to count those ballots, okay? Who the hell has ever heard it? Do you remember the last election? Did anything like that happen? No. And if you remember, it was pretty close, too. What the hell is going on here? Nobody knows. We're just going to, we'll let them sort it out. Let's just give in, man. Just give up. Hey, let Biden take over. What the heck? They rigged it. They screwed up. They've been rigging it for years. Ever since they blew up JFK's head, what the hell? Just just give up, man. As long as it's not bothering me. You ain't putting no microchip in me. That's never going to happen. Not in my lifetime. And God ain't real. Oh, yeah. Men wrote that book. Yeah. Right? Right, everybody? That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. It's about you. It's about you, your little bubble you live in. And when that bubble pops, you want to go out and cry and scream. And you got your social media platform to do it. Wah! They did this to me. They did that. Help me, people. I'm angry. Well, and you'll get some sympathizers out there to help you, and we get them on the show. We try to do things, organize things, and whatever, call people, piss people off, and, whatnot. And, the problem is that the information war, we've lost it. It's all disinformation, misinformation. It's all a big fat lie. And you can't win, man. You just can't win. I don't care who you think you are out there, you people out there. These people in these law corners and whatnot, and they're on social media, they're doing this stuff and doing that and filing this and doing that. And you got these people, they look like freaking scholars from Nostradamus, Nostradamus' secretary. They're all in there with the books and the glasses and their coffee and their cigarettes and their joints, smoking joints. And, I'm a sovereign king. I'm a sovereign. And, you govern yourself. Yeah, okay. Whatever. And they got all the books, Black's Law Dictionary. Yep. You know what a Mason's Manual is? And then everybody's, it's all, listen, man, it doesn't matter. You can you could study that crap for 1,000 years, whatever. It doesn't make a difference. It's the same thing is going to happen when you walk and you stand in front of that judge, or when you stand in front of that congressman, or you stand in front of that governor, or whatever. And you're not going to stand in front of the president. You get close to him. But nothing's going to happen. They don't care about you. They don't care. Period. You're going to do what they say. Period. And when they get your number and they got something on you, you can go hide in the Amazon jungle and they'll find you. Okay? They will track you down through the freaking barcode on your underwear. All right? They got your number. They got it. Trafficking men's souls. Simple as that. They're going to. There's no way out of it. No way out of it. You're not getting away with nothing today. This isn't Dillinger and Jesse James back in there, Billy the Kid, William H. Bonney. There's no more of those guys. That's it. Nobody's getting away with nothing. All right? You say boo the wrong way. All right? Even when it's Halloween, they're going to kick down your door and they're going to drag you off, and you're going to disappear. You're going to be sitting in a federal prison someplace, and that's the way it's going to be. Now, you got these people up there in Portland, Oregon, and Seattle, all cops are bastards, shouting their thing or whatever, and they're paid to do it. It's all put-up job, this Antifa and everything, and they're flipping cop cars over, and then they arrest them and they get them in and pat them on the back. Good job. Go out the back door. There you go. Okay, go. Check into room 221. Yeah. All right. So it's it's all a scam. It's all a lie. It's not true. It's a deception. I just played you a whole freaking intro on it. If you don't get it and don't understand it, then shame on you. It's just they got to create disorder. Lots of disorder, chaos. What's the Bible say when they preach peace, safety? Peace and safety and blah, 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 and everything else. What? Sudden destruction comes upon them because they don't know. When you profess to be wise, you become a fool. It's very simple. You have to know all this stuff. Stay out of the people's way. Stay out of the New World Order's way, because the cavalry's not coming down from the hills. All right? You want to start a civil war in America. It won't last more than 3.5 minutes, okay? So just knock it off. Nothing's going to happen. You know what you need to do? Pray, and because there's, like I said, there's this, 1776. It's over, man. We lost our republic. We lost our way. We lost our freedoms. We give them up every day. Matter of fact, you're a freaking slave. You know it. You don't have a driver's license. You don't have insurance on your car. Go ahead, drive down one of the major interstates and see how fast you don't have a camera pick you up and you get pulled over and you don't have your papers, please. You're going away. or you're going to get written with a ticket or whatever with a court date, and don't show up for that court date, they'll come get you. And that's it. And remember, they're just doing their job. That's what they're going to say. I'm just doing my job, right? That's what it's all about. We got men and women locked up all around this country in these concrete boxes, okay? All around the world, for that matter. But let's talk about America. These prisons are stacked with bodies, okay? Male and female. And they got the boys and the gals and the dykes and the men and he-she's or whatever watching over them with their uniforms and their nightclubs, and they're ready to pounce on you. They are ready to gash you. They don't care. They hate you. Oh, I'm not true. My brother, he's a prison guard. Well, they like to call correctional officers. I never call him a correctional officer, by the way. They're prison guards. These prison guards, he's a good man. He's a good guy. Listen. Are there a couple people out there that are good? Okay, all right, give them that. But the fact of the matter is, you're housing flesh, human souls. Well, for what? Because he got caught with a quarter bag of weed and he violated his probation? Come on, you're ashamed of yourself. Pick another job. Until they start changing the system and erasing the system, get rid of it. Do something else. It's simple as that. Do what's right. And then maybe you start doing what's right, maybe you'll start seeing a change. But picking up your guns, going out there and doing anything, it's not going to work. You're not going to stop it. You're not going to come together. The women, the matriarchs, not going to all come together, and we're going to have women rule over the men and the uterus. Or like Mandela comes on here and preaches, the women are going to rule, and it's going to be they're going to control the world's resources, and the women have never had any trouble except for the men and this and that. Yeah, listen. Then you sit down and ask them, well, what the hell is class action 567? Yeah, I don't have to answer no questions. I'm the judge. Well, aren't you a man? Well, I don't know. That's they can't get no answers. So, it's just nonsense, all nonsense. All right, let's open up the phone lines now. You got something you want to add to tonight's podcast, or you got something you want to talk about, all you got to do is press the number 1. After you call in, 657-383-0616. Let's see what we get. Probably get a bunch of wackos on here tonight. Who knows? We'll see. But let's try it. 843, you're first. You've been waiting a while. Go ahead.
Okay, I'm going to be leaving the hospital on Sunday, but I get what you're saying, though. Voter fraud?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. They rigged it.
Yeah, we know they rigged it. Yeah. Everything's rigged. Including your stoplights.
Yeah, life is rigged. Life is rigged.
Yeah, it's all rigged, man. It's a big club, and you're not in it, right?
Yeah.
The question is, what are you going to do about it? Nothing, right? What can you do? Nothing. So what's the point? What are we going to do? Let's just have fun, right?
Yeah. We're having fun and stuff.
Well, what do you think?
Yeah, okay.
Who is this? I recognize your voice here. You called in here before. I know you have.
Yeah, I called him the other day because I said I was in the hospital. But I'll be leaving on Sunday.
Why? What happened? What'd you do? Trip and fall?
Well, it's kind of a personal problem. I don't have corona or anything, but I just don't want to talk about it.
No, you don't want to talk about it. It's embarrassing one of those. It's medical. HIPAA laws will protect you. You don't have to talk about it.
Yeah, it could be. It's kind of embarrassing, though. Everyone's going to say, I shoved something up. Yeah, I'm going to get a lot of stories out of that one. All right. I'm just going to lay back and watch the show and listen to the show.
Yeah, man. All right, I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Appreciate your support and you listening. All right, take care. I don't know who that guy is, but he's always listening. He's always watching somehow, someplace. I don't know. He's in the hospital, but he still can pick me up. I don't know why. But I don't know. He's on his cell phone, too, it sounds like. So I don't know what's going on there. Who knows? But they're all watching. I don't know. But I know I talked about the matriarch there. I'm willing to give him uninterrupted time here. I don't know if I see him on the call board here. Let me scroll down. I know Archiveda there. I got attacked last night there in the Zoom platform by everybody because the last show there we had this person on, Belinda, who's a friend of mine, and she converses with me and Mandela Khan and everybody on a Zoom platform there. And apparently a caller called in and disrespected her, like I'm supposed to know what the callers say. You know, I have to already automatically know what they say. And I guess he disrespected her or something. I don't know. Even want to know what he said, but I did mute him actually, and this way here you couldn't carry on with the insults. Because some people call in and they'll start off real good with a conversation, and then they'll start attacking people. And they've done it to Mendelicon. They've done it to me. But for some reason, this was made a big issue last night, and I don't know what the deal is with that. But if we want to talk about class action 567, the matriarch that I brought up here earlier, what is the matriarch, and how are these women and grandmothers and mothers going to take control of the world's resources? And then what are they going to do when they take control of it? They're going to distribute everything to the poor and the poor peasants out there? This map of the world that Mendelicon always talks about, I don't even know. I never seen this map. I don't know where this map that he talks about. He promised me a revolution 4 years ago. Never got it. Never got it. I just hear to say. I remember November 2nd, where we're all going to rise up with the Second Amendment and go arrest everybody, and I don't think one person did. November 2nd came and gone. So I don't know what's going on with that. So I was John Son there, and then, he had an interesting piece there with that, and that was a good entertainment there for a little while. But he's just nothing happened. Nothing ever happens. Nobody really materializes into doing what they say they're going to do, and that's a shame because there are some good ideas out there, and I think ideas are very, very important. That we can use these ideas to unify and come together. So you want to talk about prisons, the prison military industrial complex, or whatever, and you're more than welcome to tonight. I know I've got a few callers here. I'm trying to keep those callers at bay because I already know what they're going to do with their funny noises and everything, and recordings of me. Let me see here. Well, actually, I do see. He didn't press 1 though, but I do see Mendelicon, so he's listening. He's hiding underneath the number for all the phone numbers down at the bottom there. He's hiding. So, which is fine. He could just listen. Nobody has to talk because they don't want to. When I give him the floor, when I want to give him the floor, he doesn't want to take it. But then when I have 8 guests on the show, he wants to come in and start pounding me here. So, what are you going to do if the dollar crashes and the economy crashes? What are you going to do? What's going to happen? How are you going to survive? How are you going to be able to rely on your neighbors? What's the next phase here of this agenda, of this election phase that they're pushing us through? What's next? What are they going to create that's going to distract us? Does anyone really know? Or has anyone got an idea or clue what they might be able to do? I don't know, but we'll play the dollar thing here, and I'll try to take some calls here. And, hey, press number 1, and you get the floor as long as you want because I'm trying to keep the calls down here tonight. So I will let Mendelicon on, though, if he wants to come on. So I just want to let you know that, Mendelicon, I do see you out there. I'll give you the floor as long as you want. So let's play this little dollar thing here, huh?
Joined by the host of Artie's Kaiser Report, Max Kaiser. Max, good evening. Thanks for coming on. We were hearing there that China looks set then to challenge the petrodollar. Why does Beijing feel the need to do this?
Well, first of all, they're very brave to do this because countries that have tried to exit the oil-dollar matrix have met terrible ends. Of course, Saddam Hussein wanted to trade oil in euros. He was killed. You had Muammar Gaddafi wanted to trade his energy in something other than U.S. dollars. He was killed. So the track record here is pretty dire. So kudos to China for taking this project on. And, of course, they are rumored to be the big buyer in the Aramco offering of their state oil facilities coming down the pike. So this makes sense in a geopolitical sense in terms of you've got China and Russia and the Saudis are looking to escape the U.S. dollar hegemony. They're looking to de-dollarize. That's a concept we see all over the world right now as countries want to.
All right, so they want to de-dollarize. We know that. That's been going on for a little bit now, and we know the 10-year yield there. When that goes to 0, we're really screwed. So, but let's see here. I did take one call. I do have to call this place here tonight. I do have to call this place. I have a little bit of a problem here with this place. I forgot about that here. I put that on the back. I should have did it right away. They might be closed now. I thought they closed at 9:30. Listen, I pull up get gas at this place here in Summerfield, North Carolina, and you could pump first here, so and you don't have to pay first. So I set the pump and hit the button, bing, put it in the truck, and I got somebody there. One of my workers is with me, so I can't trust them with no money. They'll take off with it. So I got to put the gas in the truck for them, like little babies. Here you go, because you can't be trusted with a $1 bill. So anyway, I put the gas thing in there, right? I'm just squeeze the handle, and the digital thing there's going $1, $2, but there's no gas coming out of the hose. I said, what the hell is this? I said, look at this. There's no gas. And the person's going, wow, yeah, I said, yeah, okay. So I put it down. I said, put it right there. Watch it, okay? Don't touch it. And I go running inside, and I tell the woman, hey, there's the thing's pumping, but there's no gas coming out. And she looks at me. She's a Mexican girl. And she gets all, like, oh, God, this guy, and then the young girl there, she's all worried about what she's going to, dick she's going to get tonight, so she's not even worried about that. She's on her cell phone, So anyway, the other one there, so the tubby one, the fat one there, comes walking around, wobbling around the corner, and she comes walking outside. Comes out to the pump. I'm following her. I'm saying, she goes, well, what happened now? And I explain it to her. So as soon as she gets to the pump, right, I get there first because she's weighs 395 pounds, and but anyway I get there first and I look at the pump and it stops as soon as she comes around the corner to the pump. And I said, well, it was just doing it. I swear it was. I mean, So and then my employee says, yeah, it was. Blah blah blah. She goes, well, okay, said it again. So anyway, she says, well, I'll give you back 50 cents or something. I said, I don't want any money back. I just want the gas. I said, I'm low on gas. It's this Chevy 350 here. It gets 8 miles a gallon. I said, it's on quarter tank. I need gas. So anyway, I go back in there last week, actually. All right, it was about a week and a half after this happened, and I'm in my personal vehicle now, and I go in there, get what I got to get, and I go into the counter. She goes, by the way, this is the last time you're going to be able to come in here, sir. I said, what the hell are you talking about? Right? She goes, we know what you tried to pull with the gas pumps. I said, what the hell are you talking about? Now, people know me. I snap. And I'm loud. I'm like, listen, what do you mean? Are you talking about when the gas was? So, make a long story short, she's going to call the cops next time I come in there. For what reason, I don't know. What did I do wrong? I don't know. But she's going to call the cops. That's what she says, okay? And I want to find out why. What's going on here with this? I want to call them live on my show here and find out what the deal is. Those pumps are supposed to be calibrated. And they're supposed to be set a certain way, and that's a very huge fine if they're wrong. Now, maybe that's why they went. Maybe I caught something. They're afraid of that. I don't know. But this is a Mexican-owned establishment, and of course, I think there's reverse discrimination going on. I mean, after all, if I was a black guy and she did that, oh boy, that place would be all over Fox News, CNN. They'd be marching. They'd have that other guy out there from the Catholic Church standing out there too, so they can get another lawsuit going. And then they'd be banging the drum, and they would be freaking. Black Lives Matter would be there. Those pumps would be on fire. Okay, if I was a black guy, because then I could trip and fall, and then whatever, and and the cops could arrest me, put their knee on my neck, and it could turn into a big thing, and Summerfield would burn to the ground. So, but since I'm a white guy, nobody's really going to pay attention except for you guys out there. So we're going to call, and I'm going to call this place, and hopefully they're open and see what the hell's going on here. We'll see if they want to answer a couple of my questions here. And I thought about this for a little while, and I said, well, hey, why not? Why not? It's a free country, right? I thought it was. But let's give them a call. There's your local gas station here. Now, where am I supposed to get gas? There's no gas station.
We're sorry. You have reached a number that has been disconnected or is no longer
maybe they're out of business already.
If you feel you have reached the...
All right. Okay. I'll get the number call dropped. There we go. Man, how the hell did that happen? I thought I had the right number there for them. Oh, well, I'll try to get that number for everybody so I can call them. Maybe it's where did I get it from? Oh, Yelp. You can't get nothing right from Yelp. That's all freaking crap. Hey, no wonder why. Man. Oh, jeez, Yelp. No wonder why I freaking got the number wrong. I'm sorry, everybody. I'll get that. If I don't do it tonight, I'll do it on the next show. I'll get the phone number for these idiots, and I'll get on them. I'll get on them about that. But anyway, okay. Oh, well, I think I got some special listeners listening tonight. I won't say no names, of course, because I don't want to get them in trouble. But all right, everybody, 657-383-0616. Understanding the times in which we live today. What do you want to talk about? I'm giving you guys the floor here tonight. You guys got the floor. You guys got it. Whatever you want to talk about, it's up to you. I don't care. I'm giving you the chance to speak on this platform right now. Uninterrupted. You want 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever. I've only got about 5 hands up right now. And 4 of them I already know they're a bunch of idiots. So it's up to you. And some of you I'm calling out on that, but you don't have to. That's okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to another commercial here, and I'm going to try to get that number so I can call them. All right? Let's play this one. This actually, that first caller there, kind of rings a bell maybe.
Life is filled with interesting things. That's why I could never commit suicide. I'm having too much fun, keeping an eye on you folks, watching what you do, human behavior. That's what I like. Humans do some really interesting things. Like, besides killing ourselves, we also kill each other. Murder. And we're the only ones who do that, by the way. Humans are the only species on Earth that deliberately kills members of another species for personal gain or pleasure. Sometimes it's just fun. We're also the only species that deliberately kills members of another species for personal gain or pleasure. That's what hunters do. They kill for pleasure. That's us. Human beings. Interesting folks. Murderers. Here's an interesting form of murder we come up with. Assassination. You know what's interesting about assassination? Well, not only does it change those popularity polls in a big fucking hurry, but it's also interesting to notice who it is we assassinate. Do you ever notice who it is? Stop to think of who it is we kill. It's always people who've told us to live together in harmony and try to love one another. Jesus, Gandhi, Lincoln, John Kennedy, Bobby Kennedy, Martin Luther King, Medgar Evers, Malcolm X, John Lennon. They all said, try to live together peacefully. Bam! Apparently, we're not ready for that. Yeah, that's difficult behavior for us. Not too bright, folks, not too bright. But if you talk to one of them about this, if you isolate one of them, you sit them down rationally, and you talk to them about the low IQs and the dumb behavior and the bad decisions, right away they start talking about education. That's the big answer to everything. Education. They say we need more money for education. We need more books, more teachers, more classrooms, more schools. We need more testing for the kids. You say to them, well, you know, we've tried all of that, and the kids still can't pass the test. They say, oh, don't you worry about that. We're going to lower the passing grades. And that's what they do in a lot of these schools now. They lower the passing grades so more kids can pass. More kids pass, the school looks good, everybody's happy, the IQ of the country slips another 2 or 3 points, and pretty soon all you'll need to get into college is a pencil. Got a pencil? Get in there, it's physics. Then everyone wonders why 17 other countries graduate more scientists than we do. Education. Politicians know that word. They use it on you. Politicians have traditionally hidden behind 3 things: the flag, the Bible, and children. No child left behind. No child left behind. Oh, really? Well, it wasn't long ago you were talking about giving kids a head start. Head start, left behind. Someone's losing some ground here. But there's a reason. There's a reason. There's a reason for this. There's a reason education sucks, and it's the same reason that it will never, ever, ever be fixed. It's never going to get any better. Don't look for it. Be happy with what you got. Because the owners of this country don't want that. I'm talking about the real owners now. The big, the wealthy, the real owners, the big, wealthy business interests that control things and make all the important decisions. Forget the politicians. They're irrelevant. The politicians are put there to give you the idea that you have freedom of choice. You don't. You have no choice. You have owners. They own you. They own everything. They own all the important land. They own and control the corporations. They've long since bought and paid for the Senate, the Congress, the state houses, the city halls. They got the judges in their back pockets, and they own all the big media news, all the big media companies. So they control just about all of the news and information you get to hear. They got you by the balls. They spend billions of dollars every year lobbying to get what they want. Well, we know what they want. They want more for themselves and less for everybody else. But I'll tell you what they don't want. They don't want a population of citizens capable of critical thinking. They don't want well-informed, well-educated people capable of critical thinking. They're not interested in that. That doesn't help them. That's against their interest. That's right. You know something? They don't want people who are smart enough to sit around the kitchen table and figure out how badly they're getting fucked by a system that threw them overboard 30 fucking years ago. They don't want that. You know what they want? They want obedient workers. Obedient workers. People who are just smart enough to run the machines and do the paperwork and just dumb enough to passively accept all these increasingly shittier jobs with the lower pay, the longer hours, the reduced benefits, the end of overtime, and the vanishing pension that disappears the minute you go to collect it. And now they're coming for your Social Security money. They want your fucking retirement money. They want it back so they can give it to their criminal friends on Wall Street. And you know something? They'll get it. They'll get it all from you sooner or later because they own this fucking place. It's a big club, and you ain't in it. You and I are not in the big club. By the way, it's the same big club they used to beat you over the head with all day long when they tell you what to believe. All day long, beating you over the head in their media, telling you what to believe, what to think, and what to buy. The table is tilted, folks. The game is rigged. And nobody seems to notice. Nobody seems to care. Good, honest, hard-working people, white collar, blue collar, doesn't matter what color shirt you have on. Good, honest, hard-working people continue. These are people of modest means. Continue to elect these rich cocksuckers who don't give a fuck about them. They don't give a fuck about you. They don't give a fuck about you. They don't care about you at all. At all. At all. Man, you know? And nobody seems to notice, nobody seems to care. That's what the owners count on, the fact that Americans will probably remain willfully ignorant of the big red, white, and blue dick that's being jammed up their assholes every day. Because the owners of this country know the truth. It's called the American dream, because you have to be asleep to believe it. But say what you want about American folks. Yeah. You can say what you want about Americans. You can call them smart, dumb, ignorant, innocent, naive, gullible, easily led, whatever you want. You're going to have to deal with them. You're going to have to deal with them because you're in the television business now. You got the all-suicide channel on cable TV.
All right, everybody. Okay. All right. Well, that was George Carlin there. I can't find this number for that place there, that gas station. I wanted to call them that maggots, but I'll get it. I couldn't find it the whole time the thing was playing there. But what's on your mind tonight? I kicked off about six people actually. So it was just one guy was it had to be a crank call. I'm not even gonna go by what he had to say there. But I know Dr. Peter Ventura there. I sounded like him, that little con there. When he comes in, he says, Dr. Peter Ventura, I approve of this message. So, but that story about the gas town thing, that was actually true. That gas station there was just. I'm banned from there, I guess. I don't know. She said I can't come in there, and she's going to call the cops. What could they get me for? If I go back there, what could they do? She told me. I mean, she's not the owner. She's an employee there or a manager or something. So I think it's the owner has to keep you banned from the place or something. I mean, how do they just blackball you and just say, you just can't come into this place just because? What's the reason? I don't get it. How could they do that? Now imagine if I said you can't come in here because you're black. Oh, like I said, they'd be marching up and down the streets. The place wouldn't last more than, more than a day. It would be burnt down to the ground. First sign of nightfall comes, they'd be throwing Molotov cocktails at the place. So, they'd be flipping cop cars over, right? I guess Mr. Mandelicon doesn't want to talk here tonight, so that's fine. I was looking for him. I was watching to see if he wanted to press one. He doesn't want to in his People's Revolution. I guess he doesn't. He didn't bring any of his cohorts up to speed here with me here tonight. But tomorrow night's show, we've got a few guests that we're going to invite onto the podcast, and then Sunday night, I believe I'm going to get Mr. Bean. I think it's Sunday or Monday. I'm going to get Mr. Bean again. I'm back on for the prison recidivism. He has a organization there that helps prisoners that are incarcerated right through as soon as they get in pretrial, and then go through the steps of incarceration, where when they get out, they have a coach there, or someone to support them. Because when you're in prison and you lose everything, and you get out and they kick you out the door, man, you ain't got nothing. So. That's a good organization there. You guys need to really pay attention to that. I know all of us know somebody that's been in prison, or some of us have been in prison, or maybe going to prison. So, but I got two private callers here, so let me take I got two private callers. I'll take them, see what happens. First private caller, go ahead. You're unmuted. Go ahead, private caller. It's probably Angel Lady. Hey, go ahead. You're unmuted. Okay, going once. Private caller. No. Okay, all right, let's try the next one then. Private caller. No, hang on. There we go. Private caller. Go ahead. You're unmuted. Go ahead.
Hello, this is Jeremy. I'm the general manager from the gas station, and I know the scam you tried to fucking run on my girl in there the other day. You are not allowed to come back. You're not allowed to come back. I'll call the sheriff's department on you, okay?
Yeah.
And we're not going to put up with you.
Why?
We know who you are. You're the gay guy that has the boat in his front yard, and you came in, you feed a fake $20 bill, okay?
Oh boy! I thought it was a fake $100 bill.
Counterfeit money. We have you on camera, inside and outside.
You have me on the camera? You said on the camera.
You bet your ass we do.
What was I doing on the camera?
Maria saw you.
Maria. Okay, Maria. Maria. Yeah, all right. Okay, and Maria. Well, Maria needs. I think Maria needs to I think you got to watch Maria. She might be pocketing a lot of those Twinkies and whatnot. She's got kind of overweight there. I think you might be having an inventory shrinkage problem there. You know.
First of all, Maria's not fat. She's maybe 200 pounds. Not much over that.
Yeah, but she's 4'5".
So she's not 400. Don't come to our gas station again. I'll call the sheriff on you. I might do it anyway.
Yeah, okay. Well, go. You need the number. And what would you call them on, though? For what? Passing a fake $20 bill. Do you got that $20 bill by any chance? How do you pass a fake $20 bill? What's fake about it?
Counterfeit money. Scamming gasoline. Money. Okay. How about all the goddamn Pepsi you come in and steal with your workers? You come in, you think we don't know you're shoplifting Frito potato chips? We've got that on camera, too. Okay, we know where you live. Stay the hell out of our business. My name is Jeremy. I'm the general manager, and we know who you are. You're on video.
Okay, Jeremy. There you go, Jeremy. You're on video. I guess he doesn't want me in his gas station there, so I don't know why I couldn't get a hold of it earlier. But hang on, Jeremy. Sorry, I muted you by accident. Go ahead, Jeremy. Go ahead, Jeremy.
Do not call and harass Maria. She doesn't deserve to deal with people like you. Just stay away.
What does she deserve?
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, there, Jeremy. All right, there you go. Well, that's the gas station owner, I guess, maybe. I don't know, Jeremy. I don't know. I thought it was Shabazz or something. I thought that was the owner, you know. I guess maybe not. I don't know. You know, it's mainly what do they call them, Habibs? They're there that own those places. They pretty much own them all now. They're buying everything up. But this was a Mexican, so Maria could be the name of the woman. I don't know. All right. Well, anyone else wanted to get on here, obviously, we can see where the show's going here. I'm going to get ready to wrap it up here if I don't get some new callers on here because I see my call board here is just shrinking. What's going on here? Mandelicon, you must have put the hex on my show. Oh, my God. What did you do, Mandelicon? Oh, I didn't advertise. That's why I did the show like 30 minutes before I put it on. So, but let me play this for you. See if I get anybody else that wants to come on here. Then you're more than welcome tonight. I guess there's no real platform here tonight. I tried to open up with something, and it's up to you. Whatever you want to talk about.
I think at one time or another we've all questioned as to whether all that we see and are experiencing in our world has some sort of a rational plan behind it, because we understand now that both the Republican and the Democratic Party in our country are basically run by the same people. The same money finances both sides. We now know, of course, through the work of many historians who have spent their life working on research to show us that both sides of world conflicts have always been financed by the same people. And as I've said before, there seems to be a method to the madness going on in the world. We know, of course, that we cannot depend on our leaders. Our leaders are misleaders. There is a science that they're following. They have their own agenda, and it doesn't include you. What your government pays for, it gets. If you are paid to do something for the government, they will extract from you exactly what they have paid for. When we understand that, then we look at universities and schools, government-financed institutions of education, and see the kind of students and the kind of education that's being turned out by these government-financed schools. Logic will tell you that if what is being turned out in those schools was not in accord with what the state and the federal government wanted, then it would change it. The bottom line is that the government is getting what they have ordered. They're getting what they have paid for. They do not want your children to be educated. They do not want you to think too much. That is why our country and our world has become so proliferated with entertainments, mass media, game shows, television shows, amusement parks, drugs, alcohol, and every kind of entertainment that keep the human mind entertained, so that you don't get in the way of important people by doing too much thinking. You had better wake up and understand that there are people who are guiding your life and you don't even know it. And all American citizens, I think, have suspected something like this is going on. But we're all too busy trying to stay alive and live our lives. And after all, what can one person do about it? This is the most powerful government the world has ever known. They had the ability to get a hold on Adolf Hitler 50 years ago. He had a standing army, the greatest navy, air force, military, secret underworld organizations operating throughout the world. But this government got a hold on Adolf Hitler because it chose to and it wanted to. And if you do not pay your income taxes, they will find you if you go to the Amazon jungle, and they will make an example of you. They will find you and they will deal with you, and you know it. But for some reason, they're unable to get a handle on drugs and the crime in the streets for some reason.
All right, that's a pretty good point there that he makes there, Mr. Jordan Maxwell. I mean, we know the drugs, a lot of the drugs there that are brought into the country here, that they're done so methodically and through a systematic way of doing things. So, but I think I'm going to get ready to wrap up the podcast here. I tried to get everyone on I tried to invite a few people on, and usually usually they come on. I did go to a couple other social media platforms and ask if they wanted to come on, but I did it last minute, so really I didn't. But tomorrow night I do have a couple of guests that are going to appear on here, and then, like I said, I've got next week, probably on Tuesday or Wednesday, I'm going to have Dr. Peter Ventura, Mr. Godinez. They're going to come on. That's going to be great. I'm going to try to get Dr. Vince Massa onto the podcast, too. That will be really, really a good show there. Dr. Vince Massa, he's very, very this guy right here, he's a really good theology in theology. I mean, he can really answer any type of biblical question. He does it really in a way that teaches you and uplifts you also, not try to put you down. So that'll be great. Let's see. Let's take this caller here that's popped up on my screen and see what they got to say. And go ahead, private caller.
Hey, Joe. This is John Doe.
Oh, hey, I was wondering where you were. I was kind of searching for you, but I know you calling from a private number, so I was searching during one of the skits I was playing there. I was going down and I was booting people off. So, but what's on your mind? I got your message, your voicemail message, actually, so go ahead.
Yeah, well, I wasn't sure that you were even going to be on tonight. I just happened to catch it by accident myself, and I wasn't sure what your topic was going to be, but since we got a lull in the system, I thought, well, hey, this might be a good opportunity. Your one little roll-in you were doing there was talking about taxes, and I was always thinking, man, but whenever 1913 came around and the Federal Reserve was enacted is when they actually passed the 16th Amendment. And I'm all about rescinding, annulling, expunging the 16th Amendment. Because before 1913, there was no property tax or, personal income tax or personal property tax. And so my theory is that the upper echelon, uber wealthy that manipulate our government, the robber baron puppet masters, figured back in 1913 or previous to 1913 that this tax situation would be a good way for them to be able to monitor and get control of watching everything you do to make sure that, it's kind of that bread and circus thing that Romans used to do with the gladiators and the beer and all that.
Yeah.
That bread and circus routine, you know what I'm talking about there, right?
That's right.
Okay. So, therefore, they put these taxes situation out there to see how much they can get away with burdening and encumbering the citizens without them standing up about their rights. No, we get to decide the burdens and encumbrances of self-governing because we're self-governing free people. Well, the people apparently in 1913 were willing to allow it to go forth. So that was a one test to, hey, we can do what we want them to do. And now they have to report their income and whatnot. So we get to be able to monitor and track. They always tell you, oh, that's, classified information and only special people get access to it. So the general public and most other people will never know what you make or what your deductions are or whatnot. But the funny thing of it is, you and I and most of us never get to vote on what those tax deductions or burdens and encumbrances are going to be. So therefore, we've been relegated to a legislative slave. They represent us like a pimp represents a prostitute. So therefore, they have nullified the United States Constitution and the spirit, hope, and promise of the Declaration of Independence. And that was part of the point I was hoping to get across the last time when I brought up the Bible verses. So therefore, those of us that consider ourselves biblical Christians or whatnot, and I'm not a perfect person, so take that with a grain of salt, but that means we've told God to take back seat, and we no longer care to put him first because, like I said, Matthew 4:10, he says, it's written, thou shalt worship the Lord thy God, and him only shalt thou serve. And in Acts 5:29, Peter's talking, it says, we shall obey God rather than men. I don't know if you remember when I said that. We ought to obey God rather than men. But also all throughout the Bible, you look at Galatians 1:10, and anybody listening, do your homework, grab these scriptures while I'm talking about them, and go check them out for yourself. Don't take anything I say for, gospel or correct. Ephesians 6:6-7 also talks about, obeying God. And everybody always wants to talk about Romans 13. Oh, you got to do what the authorities say. Well, you're taking the people that do it that or interpret it that way are actually taking it out of context, in my humble opinion. And everything I say is my opinion, so I take that all with a grain of salt.
Well, but you're entitled to your opinion.
I'm sorry?
You're entitled to your opinion.
Yeah, exactly. But I want everybody to, verify information and make sure that if I'm wrong, then, hey, come and share with me to correct me because, like I said, I'm not Mr. Know-It-All, and I'm not always going to see everything clearly. But just like when I was in third grade, everybody challenged what I said, and, hey, I actually changed my mind about things, and I was able to get smart enough to go to fourth grade. And then I changed my mind again in fourth grade about certain things I thought I understood in order to learn more to get to fifth grade, and on and on and on, and it's just continued to happen. But the point I was getting at is the fact that whenever you take into considerations that many people always say, well, Romans 13 is you got to be subject to the higher powers, and therefore all these authorities, whether it be police officers or governors or whatnot, you have to do what they say and whatnot. And I'm like going, well, if they don't respect the fact that God actually allowed mankind to establish the United States as a self-governing free people society predicated on the bloodshed of all of our founding freedom fighters who brought forth the Declaration of Independence, the highest ultimate authority in the United States, versus any other country that's ever been in power throughout all of history, we, the people of the United States, are the highest ultimate authority. So therefore, whenever anybody in a government or anybody in any other position wants to start trying to dictate to us, and it's not rules and laws and processes and procedures that we ourselves actually, chose to be burdened and encumbered by and to hold ourselves in true obedience to, then they are violating, they're insubordinating themselves against we the people. It's just like whenever we had Donald Trump going through this impeachment nonsense, and the Congress was saying, well, there's a, obstruction of Congress. And I was going, man, I thank you guys for bringing that up, because now I want to sue every one of you and throw your rear against the wall for instead of obstruction of justice, they said obstruction of Congress. Well, now I'm saying it's obstruction of we the people, because we the people are the highest authority in our country. But anyway, Romans 13 is referring to the actual office, not the people who work the office, because the people who work in that office, if they do things that are wrong in God's eyes, then that's called evil. And if they do evil, then God's not going to have any fellowship with evil. He even tells us what in Ephesians, let me flip over here and see if I can find it. Ephesians 5:11, and have no fellowship with the unfruitful works of darkness, but rather reprove them. So people can't tell me that in Romans 13 he's saying, oh, do what all these people say to do, but if they're breaking the law by trying to hold you accountable to something that you were never, ever given an opportunity to be, to consent to, you were deprived of your due process rights of good faith bargaining, good faith negotiation, mutuality of agreement, freedom of contract, freedom of association, freedom of conscience, then they've already committed extrinsic fraud against you. So therefore, they're trying a mind scam in order to get you to be their legislative slave. And so it's like all of us got to get out of this mindset that just because these people that get elected into office get to pass laws, that they get to also discriminate against us when we try to exercise our First Amendment right of redress of grievance, because in the First Amendment to the United States Constitution, it's pretty clear that Congress shall make no law abridging the right of the people to petition the government for a redress of grievances. And just to repeat myself from the last time I was on your show, back in 1770s, whenever the Declaration of Independence was being pounded out, and then in 1787, whenever the United States Constitution was ratified, everybody was getting around by walking or horse and buggy or some form thereof. And so, therefore, there was no way for the people in Congress to be able to, it was very highly impossible, or at least impractical, for them to be able to keep in touch with all of their constituents. There was no cell phones, there wasn't even the telegraph stuff at that point. Or at least it wasn't, if it was around, it wasn't wide enough use that they could keep in touch with all their constituents, because the constituents were a part of that agreement called the Declaration of Independence too. And the Declaration of Independence, you assume among the powers of the earth the separate and equal station of which the laws of nature and nature's God entitle you. So therefore, each and every person has equitable governing power, authority, and representation in governing. Because each one of you if you don't dictate the burdens and encumbrances of governing you, then you're not self-governing, nor are you free. So therefore, if I get elected to office and I'm allowed to burden and encumber you, but I don't have to provide you due process, equal protection of the law, which is basically you having the right to good faith bargain, good faith negotiate, mutuality of agreement on any of the burdens and encumbrances in the rule, then we don't have the rule of law. We're back to the same mind scam of having a doggone tyrant dictator manipulate people, but in a different way. They're doing it through more psychologically than physically, even though there was a physical, slavery type issue back in the beginning too, because of all the plantation owners. And that's
there's always been slavery around the world. Many people have been enslaved throughout the history of the world. We can't always refer to the black people were enslaved. Like they're the only ones. Every race of people has been enslaved in one form or another.
Right, but are we only referring to about physical slavery, or are we talking about governing power and authority slavery too? Because right now,
there's all kinds of slavery. Yeah.
But check it out. The plantation owners back in the day, they finally said, hey, man, I'm tired of all these HR headaches with trying to keep land available to just house these people and keep buildings together so that way they can have a place to sleep. And then I got to have a doggone kitchen and big enough to feed all of these people so I can keep them picking my cotton or grapes or whatever it is that my plantation has. And then I got to deal with any of the headaches if some of them ain't getting along with each other and stuff. Shit, man, I'm going to set them physically free, but I'm going to still bind them, well, from a psychological standpoint over the power of governing, because as long as I can keep them psychologically burdened into thinking that I am the power in charge, then I'll be able to legislate burdens and encumbrances that keeps them psychologically thinking that they're still a slave. And even though now they're on the outside, I don't have to keep them on my plantation anymore. I'll just have them come and work for me by the day or however, and then they go home and have to worry about their own meals and their own taking care of their baths and their housing and transportation and stuff, and that HR headache is out of my hair now. You catch what I'm getting at?
Yeah.
And see, most of the time, none of us really want to get into these kind of deep thinking, critical thinking, logical reasoning kind of conversations in order to, try to work it out and to understand it. And I'm like going, well, hey, is there a potential for somebody that has the means and resources to put together a connection point that, for example, if any particular person is having a problem of redress, getting stuff straightened out because they never agreed to be burdened and encumbered that way, and it's now infringing on their pursuit of happiness, because nobody's pursuit of happiness is any better than anybody else's. You get to decide your pursuit of happiness. I get to decide my pursuit of happiness, and everybody else gets to decide theirs. But if somebody in Congress, the legislative group or whatnot, do not give you a redress, and they're the ones that get to dictate what the choices are on that buffet of choices that you get to choose from, now they've back to that rendered you as a slave, because they get to decide what you get to pick from. And that's why they build themselves a high-speed fast lane to their pursuit of happiness, while give you hoops and hurdles to jump through and jump over and go around, and then you don't get a high-speed fast lane to your pursuit of happiness because they've deprived you of equal protection under the law and due process rights of good faith bargaining, good faith negotiating, mutuality of agreement in the rules, laws, process, procedures, regulations, ordinances, and such that, statutes that burden and encumber us in governing.
Yeah.
Do I make sense,
right.
Or am I talking past people?
No, keep going. Yeah.
Well, it doesn't do me any good if I'm just talking past people or people.
No,
are
I'm reading you loud and clear. I'm analyzing it. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I mean, and there's just, I don't know what else to tell you because nobody's challenging anything I said. So therefore, I'm just like going, I hope everybody else understands that regardless, if you are a legitimately legal United States citizen, you're equally significant, you're equally important, you're equally valuable, and you're equally worthy to self-determine, decide your own burdens and encumbrances. That's how you are a self-governing free person. If there's any burdens and encumbrances that you're having to be obligated to that you never consented to, then you are no longer free, and you're no longer self-governing. Somebody else has just become your master, and you've become their slave, even if it's just from governmental power. And and everybody always talks about from the legal standpoint, is people have, authority or jurisdiction. Well, the jurisdictional authority of governing you starts and stops with you. I don't have any jurisdictional authority over you and your pursuit of happiness, nor your burdens and encumbrances of governing you, because we are, under the Declaration of Independence, a self-governing free people. And that's why we can hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. They are endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that whenever any government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to dissolve or to abolish it and to institute new government, laying down its foundation on such principles and organizing its powers in such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. You get to decide your safety and happiness based on the burdens, encumbrances, the rules, laws, processes, and procedures of governing, not me. And if I try to push you out of the system...
Well, the sovereign stuff, though...
But Joe, look, if we the people don't have a sovereign ability to decide for ourselves the burdens and encumbrances, then the state cannot be sovereign, nor can the country be a sovereign country. You got to start with the fact that I am not lord over you or anybody else. I'm only lord over me, but nobody else is lord over me, and I'm not lord over anybody else but me. So as long as I have that capacity and everybody else has that same capacity, then we're equal footing. Anytime somebody else gets to decide your burdens and encumbrances, you are no longer self-governing, nor free, nor equal. But it's only about governing. It's not about equal in output or results, because you get to determine your own pursuit of happiness. I don't get to burden you with what I think your pursuit of happiness should be.
Yeah.
But I can't do you harm, or I'm not supposed to be doing you harm, because you have a right to defend yourself. And that is, your pursuit of happiness is to not be harmed.
Yeah.
But to go back to the
I agree.
point
I
that
agree.
I'm
I agree. But I don't
that,
like that sovereign. I can govern myself thing. You know.
No way.
Yeah. Where I'm king. I'm my own government. You know what I mean?
No. You're not. You're the king of governing you. You're not the king of government. You're not the king of governing. You're the king of governing you. If I start deciding that I'm smarter than everybody else and therefore none of the rest of you are smart enough to determine your own burdens and encumbrances of governing, I've just elevated myself to your master in my own mind. But physically, in the real world, if I try to push that, you're probably going to have some pushback and say, no, John Doe, you ain't going to dictate to me. You know, you're not my master.
Yeah.
But that's what you're allowing. That's what many people are allowing the government, the people that we call our government, which is not really our government. They're just the administrators and managers of our own property.
Okay, I got you.
You know what
there.
intellectual property is, right?
Yeah. Okay, I got you there. But you got to remember, we don't have a population anymore that's moral or righteous that can talk like you're talking or like I'm talking. You know, they kill each other. You know, I mean, it's just. It just doesn't make any sense.
Joe, but Mr. Gibson, you know as well as I do that the majority of people growing up, they do the best with what they understand that they have based on the upbringing they've had. And many of us understand that over the last at least 60 years, our educational system has never taught people about civics and how our country's supposed to operate. The first 40-some-odd years of my life, I didn't understand it, and I still don't today. I'm getting a better understanding of it, but the point I'm trying to make is the more that we talk about it in earnest good faith, the more educated we all will be, because I was sharing with you earlier, the more I talk about it, all the rest of you guys are going to be wanting to check me to make sure that what I'm sharing with you is legit and it's trustworthy, that you can have credibility with it to use it and activate it in your own life. If you discover there's an error, tell me now, bring me up to another level. Remember I said I learned the stuff in third grade that I recalculated and figured out how to move to get to fourth grade. And then what I learned in fourth grade, the things that were bad, I learned the good part and got better at understanding the right good things and moved to fifth grade, and on and on and on. And we all do that. We all are continuing to reevaluate the information and the knowledge that we think we have as we go through life, and different things challenge us, and then that makes us rethink to figure out another way forward. And the people that are the robber baron uber wealthy that are playing the puppet masters, they're already well advanced in understanding how to psychologically manipulate, that Stockholm syndrome, coercive persuasion, psychological projectioning, pushing thoughts to people to make them stay stuck so that way they can continue to manipulate them. Well, you and I and however other many people that are in good faith wanting to actually free people, and this, what I'm talking about, has nothing to do with what party you're in, what race you're from, or ethnicity, or gender. This is all about me recognizing the fact that every legitimately legal United States citizen is equally valuable, equally important, equally significant and equally worthy to self-determine their own burdens and encumbrances of governing, and me respecting that because that's what the Declaration of Independence puts forth and the United States Constitution. Article 1, like I told you, and sections 9 and 10 states that there shall be no title of nobility. That right there wipes out any caste or chain of command, hierarchy, class structures nonsense when it comes to governing. Now, I'm not talking about roles and responsibilities because presidents and senators and congressmen do have roles and responsibilities. But when it comes to governing, how we get along with each other, how we treat each other, how we interact with each other, and how we transact with each other, that's governing. When it comes to that, we all are equally significant, equally important, equally valuable, and equally worthy to self-determine our own burdens and encumbrances about governing ourselves. So therefore, person gets in their mind their significance and their value, and as we all continue to talk about civics and governing and whatnot, we learn. Our educational system has been manipulated by the uber wealthy or I call it the Luciferian robber barons that want to exclusively govern every jurisdiction that they have.
Our society is so broken and we have so much hatred in our hearts towards one another. You could take my situation, for instance. I was in a relationship with a girl for 13 years, and she hates my guts for no reason at all. I did nothing to her. And she twisted everything around and took my kids from me. I finally get the kids back, but she's only let me see the kids so I could take care of them. Because she ain't got a pot to piss in, So it's a bad situation. So what do I do? I got to fight fire with fire. So okay, well I guess I'm not going to see my kids no more. That's it. Oh well, you're taking it out on the kids? No, I'm not taking it out on the kids. What is it? What right do you have to make children with me, marry me, pretty much, and then just walk out, and leave? It's society. The end times. Brother against brother, children will rise up against their parents. Women will rule over their men. It's just crazy.
Yeah, and I agree with what you're saying. My sad heart says that we have to start trying to rebuild our society at some point. If I focus on the fact that, I've had 4 dads and however many moms, I had 1 sperm donor and I had 1 egg donor. And I've had a dysfunctional family for my whole life, because my parents split up multiple times at different stages of my life. If it wasn't for the grace of God, for there go I, just along with the rest of the whole deal. And, why is it that God gives Moses insight to come and share things to the world or even anybody else? If a lot of people from a secular standpoint, agnostic or atheist, certain people get a genius idea to become Henry Ford, and they start a new business, and then that business makes them a millionaire or a billionaire. But why is it that nobody else on the face of the planet got that idea and was able to move with it? Well, it's because God decides to use who he wants to use at different times, and he gives me the ideas I get, and he gives you the ideas you get, and the more we work with each other and try to help each other, the more likely it is that we can move towards something that's going to benefit each other. But the more we use our capacity for knowledge, wisdom, and understanding and intelligence to just create roadblocks for each other and create stumbling blocks and distract the conversation into stuff that doesn't help us actually build, then we're actually just deteriorating. I'm setting my heart and mind and spirit on trying to learn from the dysfunction of my past and learn from the wisdom and knowledge and insight that I believe that has been shown through all of humanity, as well as all the written work throughout humanity, intelligence, to take that I believe blessed us with and move forward in trying to help make sure we all are able to go forward despite our own burdens and encumbrances, because that's the only, in my humble opinion, that's the only way forward, because I don't want people, lording over me, dictating burdens and encumbrances for my life, which has been my whole life. This system of governing that we have in the United States of America may be the best on the face of the planet, but the interpretation is that the people who goes into office who are supposed to be managing and administrating our property, like I was starting to tell you, intellectual property is the governing of us. They mismanage it. It's fraudulent misrepresentation and fraudulent conveyance that they're doing, and extrinsic fraud, coercion, bullying, name it, duress, embezzlement, extortion, because they're using your property, the governing of you, your intellectual property, against you, and without any benefit to you. Then they've just mind scammed you to use your property, which is your, decision making for governing of you. Now, under a fiduciary agency relationship like you would have with the lawyer in normal cases, that lawyer or that agent, whoever it is, for whatever kind of trust relationship, business relationship you have, that fiduciary obligation means that they get to do your business on your behalf but do you no harm. That's why they have to keep in communications with you to make sure that the decisions that they're making are rightfully what you want to do. Otherwise, you can take them to court. But you know as well as I do, because of the bar administration and the corrupt indoctrination of our educational system, most of the lawyers today create all of these laws, rules, processes, and procedures with all this vague, ambiguous language, so that way when they're in court, they can manipulate anybody they want, because they get in behind doors saying, okay, we're going to divvy up, that gets real confusing, or it's very hard to describe or explain. But that's, like I said, everything is my own opinion. But to me, that's exactly what's been happening, because at some point in our past, probably before you and I were ever born, this system got rolling, and they never continued to keep teaching civics and how, these different systems of governing are supposed to be capable of helping us. And so, therefore, people just got tired of trying to tell us or whatnot and decided, well, we're just going to decide for them from now on. And now we've got to take control again. Otherwise, it's going to, like you said, get where we're all just beating each other down. And I don't necessarily want to address your personal issues, because that, that's something I don't think needs to be discussed in this kind of venue. And that's, but my
it depends how personal you want to go. That's pretty much they know all about my life anyway, so it doesn't make a difference. But I won't get into detail. But the personal issue is this: is that I have a broken home, obviously, because the wife refuses to work things out. She refuses, based upon what? I don't know. Arguments, maybe in the past. I don't know. I could have said mean things to her, maybe when we were arguing. But what person doesn't when you argue with somebody? I never hit her. I never put my hands on her. I never forced myself on her. I never did anything crazy like that, where I could see where, obviously that would be unforgivable. But, other than that, nothing. I took good care of her, actually, But she's took off and fled, and now I finally was able to see my kids again, and I got the 50-50 deal going on, but I'm not going to be a babysitter for her. I can't do that. I'm not going to be a part-time father. I won't be a part-time father. I just won't do it. I told everybody that. And that's the way it's going to be.
In the reality of the circumstance, for the benefit of your children, I would hope that you would want to make every opportunity to be with your kids as often as the system will allow you.
Well, you see, you're kind of feeding the devil there. You got to be careful. That's the world telling me that, do your co-parenting, 50-50. You got to support the wife no matter what, even if she's out screwing somebody else. No, I don't have to support her, and I will not. And look, we made a contract, and if she decided to break it, now when you break a contract, you have to pay the price. Why should I have to suffer? I was upholding my end of the deal.
As well as anybody, Joe, that this particular system is so broken. It's
I know.
Hard
God, yeah.
In every contract, it's renegotiated.
Oh yeah. Oh, I agree 100%. But why should I? Why should I have to? be the one that gets penalized here. I mean, why should I have to? I mean, listen, I love my sons. I love my of course I do, but I'm not going to be a part-time father. It's more harm. You're doing more harm to the children, bouncing them back and forth. You really are. Hey, you're here this 2 days. You're here 2 days. You're here 2 days. Then you're here 2 days. That's crazy. You'll drive these kids insane. They're going to rebel. They're going to get angry.
Well,
they're eventually going to say, well, I don't want to be here with you. I want to be over there with her. And then, you just can't do that. I just don't see it.
Yeah, see, like I shared a bit with you earlier, if you grow up having multiple dads, multiple moms and stuff, I had a dysfunctional family.
Yeah, that's what's going to happen with my kids because, she's going to probably have, more fathers in there,
But part of my own regret is that my biological dad never fought hard enough to be in my life, and you don't want. And that's take that with a grain of salt.
Well, now wait a second. Now I am fighting. I mean, what else can I do except make a jerk out of myself in front of everybody? I mean, I freaking begged the freaking girl to come back to me already 1,000 times. I mean, what else can I do? I mean, you can only go so far here. I'm not gonna. I'm not going to go out there in front of her window and start playing a guitar. I mean, what the hell is going on? How far do you got to go here? I mean, I'm on social media telling her that I love her and this and that, but, come on.
That's why, Joe, I say take everything I say with a grain of salt. I'm just sharing one aspect of a whole big realm of stuff that I don't even understand. I don't know diddly about any of your business.
Oh, so yeah, I know. I understand what you're saying.
I'm just reflecting on my own.
What I gave you was a synopsis of a lot of cases that are going on out there today. Is that where these family courts and whatnot is they're introducing this co-parenting thing where it's okay for the parents to split up, and it's okay for mom to go screw this person, screw that person. Meanwhile, daddy has to watch the kids, and they co-parent. I don't buy that. I don't buy that for a second. I don't. And the fathers can do the same now. They can free to do whatever they want to do. But and I just don't buy. I don't think that's our destroying the moral fabric of our family. I believe that the shunning of adultery and doing what you're wrong and saying it's wrong and steering and maybe getting counseling. I think the couples should be ordered to do counseling together first before they split up. You know what I mean?
I hear what you're saying. I have a hard problem with people trying to do that, but it depends on who the counselors are and what their predicament is with your situation. Because
what about church? What about a church or a pastor going to going to a church? I support that too. I mean, I think that's always good to go before God, right?
I don't necessarily call humans God, nor do I call all the humans church. In my humble opinion, the majority of what we call today church are Pharisees. They're either Pharisees, Sanhedrin, Sadducees, or Nicolaitans.
Well, they're in apostasy, yes. They're in apostasy. Yeah, the churches are in apostasy. But the churches themselves, though, you got to remember, God does appoint ministers, and pastors to bring His word. You're called. People are called to preach. Now I know what the argument is that, well, I don't go to church because there's hypocrites there. Well, there's hypocrites in the grocery store. You still go there, So of course there's hypocrites everywhere. It's what I don't know what you are for your spirituality, what you believe in God or whatnot, but you have your free will to choose whatever you want to believe. But I'm a God-fearing man. I believe in the Bible, and I believe that the Bible is the true Word of God, the King James Bible.
Well, I think each one of us believe our own interpretation of the Bible. And I've grown to change
Scripture's
over the years.
Yeah, well, Scripture's not for private interpretation.
Well, the Bible, in my humble opinion, my interpretation is the Bible interprets itself.
That's right. Yes, it does. The Bible answers itself. You're absolutely correct there. But it's not for private interpretation.
That's just my interpretation. But see, the thing when you start delving into the details, not everybody particularly is in the same position, and I've changed over the years because, back in 1983 when I first started dallying around and reading the Word and stuff because God just quickened me, and, I was at a party and I was drinking them down and doing stuff that I shouldn't be doing, and there was no Christians around, but God got my attention, and from then on, because it's been a whole different ball of wax. But I'm still growing and still learning, and throughout the years, I've realized that many of the churches are sowing the worldly mentality through their churches, and that's why I say many are Pharisees, Sadducees, Sanhedrin, or Nicolaitan, or whatnot.
I see Florida's on the line here. Florida, I don't know if Florida wants to do.
Whoever you get to counsel with, because you can't always know that the people that's counseling you are going to be giving you good advice. They could be steering you down a rabbit hole.
It's called spiritual advice, and it's called, what it is everything has to be done through the Bible. You always refer back to the Word of God, the King James Bible. I don't know, like I said, it's the 7th translation. But Florida, I don't know if you want to jump in there, Florida.
Joe.
What's that? Oh, no, there's no interpretation about it. It's been studied out.
Because that's why we have so many different denominations. They all still read the same King James Bible,
sure
but they still have multiple different interpretations.
Actually, no, they don't. The King James Bible is the only Bible that has never been copyrighted. All the other Bibles have a copyright.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that there's so many different denominations that use the same King James Bible, but they still have different interpretations, even though you're still looking at the same, 1611 authorized version of the King James. Whether it be, charismatic or, Pentecostal or Presbyterian or Episcopalian. I mean, they still have little differences in interpretation, is what I'm pointing at. And that's why I'm saying if you're going to look counselors, be careful who you're listening to for your counselors. Because some of them get into necromancy and sorcery, and they just cover it up like it's Christianity. And I'm like, I'm just concerned. I don't know who the people are. And I'm not sure that I'm even qualified to judge, but I do go to the Spirit of the Lord and seek, His wisdom in bearing into me if this person is the person I'm supposed to be consulting, advising, getting mentorship from.
So you always go back to God. You always revert back to God to ask for His advice, which is good, That's
I
good.
want to
That's
be
what you're
led by
supposed to
His
do.
Spirit to the right person, and then I get the right person, then things work out. But, I've made a lot of bad decisions in my life.
Yeah. Well, the only original copy is considered the inspired Word of God, which is the King James Bible. So, it was, and that's its 7th, and we know God does everything in what? 7s, right? Well, that's the 7th translation. The 1611 King James Bible. And it was prophesied also, His Word would be prophesied 7 times. Purified like silver 7 times. As Book of Psalms states that. But so the thing of it is that we can get into like a real, that's when you start talking about religion and God, you get turn people off, and then you get people that say it divides. But the fact of the matter is, what is the most important topic around the world really? What is the focal point over there in the Middle East? What are they fighting over? Land and their religion. And see, it's gonna come. It's gonna come one day. Like I said, I don't know what your belief is, or what you believe, or what your denomination is, or if you have one. But like I said, I do believe that there's a God and there's an intelligent designer behind all this that we see here today.
Yeah,
and the thing
I agree with that general.
And the people today are hardening their hearts more than ever, right?
Most of the people I'm around, that I've bumped into, that I know of, yes. But I mean, many of us are in the same sense of family have frustrations with the dynamics of relationship between members of the same family. And I don't know a family that doesn't have that issue.
Yeah, you're right. Listen, I got Florida. Do you want to cue in here tonight? I see Florida popped up on the line here. I don't know if they want to press 1 or not. They want to come on and talk about anything, the election, Trump, whatever. I did offer that to everybody. I invited Florida on. I know he usually participates. Mendelicon, he ran away, which is probably a good thing when he starts talking with his rat-a-tat-tat stuff and his People's Revolution. But I brought that up, the sovereign thing, though, because I remember you were on a Zoom call with David there, and David doesn't really particularly like me too much because he think he's with the God thing. He believes that if you're the sovereign thing is that you can govern yourself. Governments are created to restrain sin, of the people, and we have to have some sort of government or some sort of institution in place to govern the people. We can't just govern ourselves. If we all governed ourselves, we would have what? You can't have I govern myself. I do what I want to do, and then people say, "Well, do no harm." Well, or comply with the golden rule. It doesn't work. I mean, what do you think? I'll give you closing thoughts here, because then we'll wrap up the podcast. But what do you think about that, real quick?
Well, from my standpoint, and I'm still open for suggestions because I don't think I've cornered the market in all understanding of these issues or those that might be, indirect or directly connected to it. But the point that to me is whenever we have relationships, because we interact with each other, we relate with each other, we transact with each other, we have to have means to figure out how to deal with issues when our governing cross paths. When you and I go into situations where, now you can't, the self-governing review is one thing, but how do we get along with each other whenever the governing bumps heads with each other? That's where I'm saying those rules, laws, process, and procedures that are the ordinances and the regulations and whatever that has to do with governing have to all be decided by all of us. So we can say, I will in good faith hold myself in true obedience to these things. When somebody else decide those for you and then obligate you to them, and now they're wanting to take you to court and imprison you over stuff that they never gave you due process to, or mutuality of agreement for, then there's anger that raises up, and it's partly the way the system has been manipulated somewhat on purpose. Because they like to be able to play that game.
Right.
But my point is that there is a government, but it's government of we the people. We actually place the congressmen and senators in place to govern our property the way we tell them to govern it. The problem is the interpretation today of operation and function is the people that get into office get to dictate all the burdens and encumbrances, whether you and I like it or not, even though we still have a redress of grievance in the First Amendment, which many times, if not most times, they ignore, just like you said to Belinda, or I forget who it was at the last show I was talking to, how many of remonstrances actually have done any good? You go for a remonstrance, and they pretty much throw 95 or 99% of them in the wastebasket, and they might do something on one. So there's a breakdown in how to hold our officials accountable, or for the officials to understand how this thing can quickly unwind and become anarchy if they don't start respecting the fact that each one of us want to decide for ourselves our own pursuit of happiness and then the burdens and encumbrances of our life.
Yeah, you're right. All right, well, if you got anything else you want to add here, you're more than welcome to, because otherwise I'm going to wrap up the podcast here. I'll wrap it up with a little closing thoughts here of, let's see, what should I play here? Oh, boy, what are my intros here? I don't know. Florida, if you want to talk, you need to press 1, but if not, then I'll wrap it up here. Let's see here. Oh, boy. Oh, man, I got a bunch of them here I can play for everybody, but I guess... here we go. How about this one? You'll respect this one.
Let me say some stuff closing while you're looking for whatever you want to wrap up the show with.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, the point that where I'm at is I'm still growing. Everything I say is just my opinion and my perspective for where I'm at today. Tomorrow is going to be a different day because people that I bump in today may enlighten me in certain areas, and I'll think differently tomorrow.
I see. I got another caller there, so I'll get to you. But go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go ahead.
That's all good. So everything that I get exposed to today, hopefully I'm going to soak up the good about that, and I'm going to start weeding out the bad in the sense that I can help not only myself grow forward, but I can make sure not to put a stumbling block in front of my brothers and sisters out there. And this is a very tricky thing to do. It's easy to say, but it's very hard to do because sometimes I'm creating problems for people that I don't even realize till they tell me. And that's why when my brother or sister, and I'm saying that meaning my fellow Americans, but that can also mean my Christian brothers and sisters. But from a standpoint of governing here in the United States of America, since we are the only government that I know of that is founded on the principle of we the people being self-governing free people. And so therefore, when I say my brothers and sisters, my other fellow Americans, as each one of us get different stimulus coming to us each day, hopefully we're learning from those things and growing to the next level. So the next day we can actually bring forth something smarter and more education or whatever that helps make us more in harmony with each other.
All right, let me get to this. Let me bring this. Yeah, let me bring this guy on. He's waiting patiently here. Just don't go nowhere. Just hang on, because I know you got. Hang on. Go ahead there. 210. Go ahead.
Hey, buddy. How's it going? It's Randy.
Randy.
Yeah, Randy Anderson.
Okay, how you doing?
Good. I kind of tuned in a little late. What I do. Oh, you know what? I have to take a shit. Excuse me.
Okay, there he goes. There we go. One of our wonderful callers here. Wonderful callers, huh? Isn't that wonderful? You know, he waited all that time just to say that. And that's what doesn't that give us an example of what our stupid society really is all about out there? You know, I mean, that's what we have. That's what we're going to build from. That's our foundations. What do you think there, John Doe?
Well, the gentleman, I mean, I don't know if it just hit him all of a sudden and that's what he needed to do and he felt like he couldn't talk on the phone at the same time that he's taking a dump. I know certain people that do that all the time. It's not a problem for them to multitask. But at the same time, if he's using that as a distraction, then he's, in my humble opinion, sad to say, he's actually defeating his own highest level potential for the future. He's stunting his own potential blessing and gift of I don't even know the right word. See, I'm not the greatest speaker in the world, but to me, if he really had an earnest consideration for the condition of mankind and his own situation, he would know that the betterment of himself is based on the betterment of all of the other Americans or even human beings, period. Because the better my fellow American or my fellow human being around the world is doing, the better it is that they're going to be in a situation that they don't need my help. So therefore, they're not a burden on me, so that makes my life sweeter that I'm not having to always take care of burdens. But also, at the same time, that means that if I have a burden that out of the blue, I'm whatever, just stuck out in the cold, no place to go, and I need some help, they are benefited enough that they'll be able to reach out and pull me up and give me that helping hand I need.
Yeah, let's give some knowledge at the end here. Very, very easy. It's only 3 minutes long. We'll play the Declaration of Independence here. You know, let's George Washington, I guess you could say, from the Sons of Liberty.
John. Here, you learn this. Sure you wrote it big enough?
Yes, old King George should be able to see that.
When in the course of human events it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with another, a decent respect requires that they declare the causes which impel them to the separation. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, and among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. To secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. And whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, It is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it and to establish new government. We, therefore, the representatives of the United States of America, do and with the authority of the good people of these colonies, solemnly publish and declare that these united colonies are, and of right ought to be, free and independent states, that they are absolved of all allegiance to the British Crown, and that all political connection between them and the state of Great Britain is and ought to be totally dissolved. In the support of this declaration, with a firm reliance on the protection of divine providence, we mutually pledge to each other our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor.
I think that pretty much summed it up right there. What do you think, John Doe?
Well, I think it was a summary because there was some parts that were left out. That wasn't a full rendition, but hey, it's still good stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, anyway, I appreciate you joining me here tonight. I know we did have some callers early on in the podcast. We had a couple there jump in during that intro, but they had to run off real quick, so I guess they were probably crank callers most likely. But, yeah, we'll be doing another show tomorrow night if you want to join in. I'm sure we'll have some our wonderful crowd here tomorrow night. So, but, hey, thanks for joining me. I appreciate it. And we had a good conversation tonight, on air, actually. Okay?
Yeah, many blessings to you. I'll be in prayer. May everything work out with you and your loved ones.
All right, bye.